Good evening, everyone. If you'll please find your seats, we're going to begin in 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you. We're right there. Come on in, everybody. Please make your way to your seats. We've still got a few more people in the foyer area there. Okay, everybody in the back, if you'd please find your seats. Come on in, please find any available seat. Come on in, everybody. If we don't start soon, Charles is going to fire me. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. The remaining people, if you'll please sit down, and we will begin. And I think that's very good. We're almost on time. Most Jewish events always start on time, so so we're good here. Well, welcome everyone. What an incredible event we have in store for you. My name is Jay Feinberg, and I am the inaugural recipient of the Charles Bronfman Prize. Thank you. I received that honor back in 2004, and today I am proud to be part of an entire family of exceptional prize laureates, many of whom you will hear from this evening. Their humanitarian work inspires the next generation, and really all coming from number one right over here, Charles Bronfman, who inspires us all. Tonight, we are here to celebrate our 2023 laureate, Yotam Polizer. You will hear a great deal this evening about Yotam and his incredible life-saving work. I received the prize after surviving a battle with leukemia and a life-saving bone marrow transplant, and subsequently founding the grassroots Gift of Life Marrow Registry and its family of subsidiary organizations. Being the first recipient of the prize helped me grow Gift of Life into the organization that it is today, really truly inspired by Charles and the incredible person that he is. Gift of Life saves lives all over the world through stem cell transplants and cellular therapies, and I am just honored to be part of this incredible family. On behalf of Charles and the prize that bears his name, I strive to democratize access to these vital treatments and provide equal opportunity to every patient who needs them. Nick?
Hi, I'm Nick Kafka, and I'm the newest member of the Prize family after receiving the prize last year. I founded an organization called Teach a Man to Fish that fights poverty by teaching young people entrepreneurial and life skills. Currently, our curriculum is in more than 2,000 schools worldwide, and we're now part of the national curriculum in Honduras. After receiving the prize, we've been able to do some great things, including setting up an early years program, starting with South Africa, which is something incredible to see. I'm thrilled to celebrate Yotam tonight. One thing I really love about Yotam's work is it's not just about swooping in after disasters, but it's really about helping to rebuild towards sustainability, which is at the core of the work that I do. So I'm looking forward, Yotam, to having you as part of this prize family. You see, it really is all about family, this prize. Stephen Bronfman and Ellen Bronfman founded the prize over 20 years ago, along with their spouses, Claudine and Andrew, to honor Charles and to celebrate his values. So to start this evening, I would like to introduce the founders, Stephen Bronfman and Ellen Bronfman. Please give them a hand.
I have to get my glasses out.
But I printed it big for you.
Yeah, still not big enough. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. As Nick mentioned, we started this prize as a gift to our dad for his birthday 20 years ago. We knew there was no better way to honor the work he has done to create a more just and better world by encouraging the next generation to do the same. And tonight we're here to honor the 2023 recipient and laureate, Yotam Polizer. You know, we've had a chance to get to know Yotam. We were all together in Arizona at the JFN, where Yotam was presenting. And at the same time, we were together in Israel just recently. And I've gotten to know the work that he does, which is so spectacular. And to me, there's two vital things that your organization, IsraAID, is doing. Yes, it's going in to provide amazing help in crises and being the first on terra firma to do that. But at the same time, you're raising the Israeli flag and you're showing the world that Israel is there and Israel cares in a time where there's so much goddamn anti-Semitism and racism and anger out there. You are doing great for the world and for humanity.
Yes. It's true, and we've been so fortunate to get to meet you and spend some time with you. But before we share more about Yotam's work, there's some people that we need to thank. And of course, first of all, we want to welcome Yotam's family, who have come all the way from Israel. So welcome. We've a huge welcome to Yotam's nominating team, and we're just grateful to you all for bringing his remarkable work to our attention. Then on to our incredible judges. I don't even know where to start, but I'll mention first Ambassador Stuart Eisenstadt isn't here tonight. He's in Berlin right now for Holocaust negotiations, which is so incredible to think of everything that all of our judges do. But here tonight we have Justice Rosalie Abella, who currently retired from the Supreme Court of Canada. Rosie, we're so happy that you could join us tonight. And all the way from Israel as well, we have former Deputy Prime Minister Dan Meridor, and prize laureate and judge Dr. Amitai Ziv. We've truly learned so much from all of you, and I guess a huge thanks to our dad. You get the last thanks because you continue to inspire us every day, and thank you for everything you've taught us. And yeah, we're just, and of course, thanks to you all for coming out on a Sunday evening to learn about Yotam and all of our prize laureates who are here with us tonight.
Fantastic.
So.
More for me?
Yes.
Oh, and we're thrilled that so many of our, I can read it without glasses.
Yes, you can.
We're thrilled that so many of our past laureates are here tonight as well, some of who you'll have the opportunity to get to know. I'd like to introduce prize judge and 2007 laureate Professor Amitai Ziv, who's the founder and director of MSR, the Israeli Center for Medical Simulation, and deputy director of Sheba Medical Center, along with our 2011 prize laureate, educator Karen Tal, the Director General of the Amal Education Network. Please come up, guys.
We wanted to get that right. Thank you.
Okay. Karen, you're with me, right? So thank you so much, Ellen and Stephen. As Ellen mentioned, I have the honor not only of being the 2007 Charles Bronfman Prize recipient, but also a prize judge. And when Yotam's nomination came to the judges this year in fact, we were so impressed with how Yotam made his way through the ranks, from serving as a volunteer in Nepal, to heading missions in Greece and Japan, to becoming the CEO of IsraAID. As CEO, Yotam has led IsraAID to new heights, positioning IsraAID as a global leader in humanitarian and disaster response. As a medical doctor, I'm struck by how Yotam steered IsraAID in navigating healthcare crises from Ebola to COVID, addressing both physical and mental health issues. Sheba Medical Center and IsraAID, along with others, were part of the first responders of the crisis in Ukraine. While IsraAID was opening a logistics hub in Romania to establish a supply chain for humanitarian aid, Sheba Hospital led the Israeli field hospital in Ukraine. A year later, IsraAID team is still working in Moldova, Romania, and Ukraine, and have reached by now over 300,000 people. 2 weeks ago, yeah, absolutely. And this is just one of the many endeavors that Yotam and IsraAID are doing these very days. 2 weeks ago, I led a delegation to Kiev on behalf of Sheba's Rehabilitation Hospital to explore ways to enhance professionals' capacity to address the devastating reality. Obviously, IsraAID will have a central role in this mission as well. Yotam and I have already met to plan the collaboration that we'll be doing. Undoubtedly, Yotam's personality and vision, accompanied by his vast experience, commitment to the cause, and love of mankind, will ensure significant empowerment of the Ukraine professionals and promise a long-standing impact. And Ukraine is only one of the many of Yotam's ongoing and future endeavors of Tikkun Olam. So in accord with the Charles Bronfman Prize family spirit, I'm looking forward to working together with Yotam as members of the same family.
So impressive. I'm Karen Tal, and I founded an educational venture based on the idea that we can create revolution in education. Currently, I am the Director General of the Amal Network in Israel, an educational network, the Amal Network, which was founded by the Histadrut in 1928, composes a broad mosaic of students from throughout Israel, Jewish, Arab, Druze, and Bedouin. In my vision, Amal Network will become the first state democratic network in Israel, which emphasizes in the spirit of the values of the Declaration of Independence and of the Histadrut. Values of freedom, equality, social justice, technological innovation, and reduction of social gaps. As an educator, I am especially impressed with the train-the-trainer model that Yotam established, where IsraAID goes into vulnerable areas and train local therapists and social workers, helpers who can stay for the long term, focusing on not only rebuilding buildings, but taking care of people who are experiencing the most traumatic event of their lives. IsraAID has worked in emergency and long-term development setting in 60 countries around the world. Their motto is, wherever we are needed, as long as it takes. As Israelis, especially at this moment in time, it makes our hearts proud to welcome another Israeli into the Prize family. Here's more about Yotam and his work.
After my military service, like every Israeli, I found myself trekking the Himalayas, and as I got off the mountain, I saw an ad that invited backpackers to volunteer with street children. You know, that sounds cool, I'll do it for 2 weeks. And I ended up staying there for 3.5 years. I learned Nepalese, proved to be really useful when I went back to Nepal after the earthquake they had. We had a search and rescue team coming from Israel. We pulled out many dead bodies, and then in the morning of the 6th day, the commander of the team told me he hears something. So I screamed something in Nepalese, and I heard back, "Dukcha," it hurts.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Her name is Krishna Kumari. She has 2 kids. She's 35 years old. People ask me how I can do this work for so long. You know, these are the kind of stories that keep you going for the next 10 years. I went back to Israel in 2011 after 3.5 years, and literally 10 days after I went back, I got a call from the person who was running IsraAID at that time, asking me if I want to lead a mission to Japan. But I grew up in a tiny village in northern Israel. I had the most beautiful childhood. I never thought I'd get involved in global disasters and humanitarian aid. But here I am at the age of 27, finding myself on a plane to Fukushima. In the beginning, it was very difficult. The Japanese, for them, accepting outside support is a sign of weakness. But we found this one kindergarten where 8 children died during the tsunami, and we offered to do a very simple stress release activity. And when the teachers saw how the children reacted to this activity, they were shocked. It's the first time the children actually express themselves regarding their trauma. That's also when we realized that in Israel, because of our own traumas, we developed an expertise that could really support the world's most vulnerable communities, using psychosocial support, helping people cope with trauma. And that started the second part of my career, which was to do a lot of different emergency missions around the world. We were always about sending our team within the first 72 hours, but even more important, our teams are still on the ground in Ukraine, in Moldova and Romania, and in 16 other countries. Personally, this is the more important part, not just being first on the ground, but being the last one to leave. December 2015, a boat capsized, and I was carrying this cute Syrian girl. I could see that she was suffering from severe hypothermia. Her father stood nearby, and then when he finally opened his mouth, he said, "My worst enemy became my biggest supporter, and the people who are supposed to protect me back home in Syria are chasing me away." And I think it was the first time that I realized that this terrible tragedy could turn into an opportunity, not only to save lives, but to build bridges and to change people's perspective.
A group of 125 Afghans trying to find a way out. Led by Yotam Polizer, the already treacherous journey made even more dangerous because of the nationality of their rescuers.
Hi, Yotam. My friend, you have taken IsraAID to a very high level, and we know it's going to continue and even grow stronger.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Toda.
Wow, wow, wow. Yotam, your work is amazing. It is said in the Jewish tradition, in the Talmud, that if you save one life, you save the world. And Yotam, you have embodied that tradition so well, and bringing in the incredible volunteer contributions of so many Israelis, you've done it thousands of times more. You've not only saved the world, but made it a better place for all of us. My name is Eric Rosenthal. I'm the founder of Disability Rights International, I received the Bronfman Prize in 2013 for our global work to protect children and adults with disabilities, and to make sure that no child is taken away from their parents because of their disability, placed in an orphanage, and growing up without the love and care of a family. We've been very involved in Ukraine as well, a country that had more than 100,000 children in institutions, and those children separated from their family have been in terrible danger during this war. Many people don't know that the war crimes that you've heard about, the abduction of children into Russia, are mostly happening from orphanages, from children who've been separated from their families. And if we were able to keep them safe in their families, there are so many risks that they would be protected from. I've had the opportunity to witness Yotam's work directly in Ukraine. Many aid workers have been there, and the way it inspires hope, saving individuals, is priceless. So Yotam, congratulations on receiving the prize. I am so proud to welcome you among those to share a prize in the name of a man we so admire and love, Charles Bronfman. We're going to now meet one of the people whose lives have been saved by Yotam, and my fellow laureate, Becca Heller, will introduce her. Thank you.
All right, so I had to find my page because I'm not Eric Rosenthal. I'm Becca Heller. I'm the co-founder and executive director of the International Refugee Assistance Project, or IRAP. But most importantly, obviously, I am a Charles Bronfman Prize laureate. You don't have to clap at that. IRAP provides legal aid to help some of the world's most vulnerable refugees find a safe place to call home. And we've been deeply involved with people in Afghanistan since 2011, when the United States Congress, with incredible bipartisan support, passed something called the Afghan Allies Protection Act, which was to provide life-saving visas to US interpreters and other allies who the Taliban was trying to murder because of their service to the United States. When President Biden first announced his intention to withdraw troops from Afghanistan in the spring of 2021, IRAP joined a huge coalition of immigration advocates, veterans groups, faith groups, national security groups, and others calling on the administration to begin evacuating our allies in Afghanistan, not just those who worked for the military, but those who fought for women's rights and gay rights and a free press. Unfortunately, the administration failed to take any action based on internal intelligence assessments that it would be months before a Taliban takeover. In reality, it was 24 hours. During the 2 weeks between the fall of Kabul and the final US troop withdrawal, hundreds of thousands of Afghans had harrowing experiences trying to access the airport and escape a life sentence under the Taliban. One of them was our next speaker, Rodaba Nouri, a student at Bard College who grew up in Herat, Afghanistan, and joins us to tell her story. Welcome, Rodaba.
Good evening, everyone. August 15, 2021 marks the darkest day in the history of Afghanistan for the Afghan people. It was daytime, but it was dark. No children playing, no shops open, no students in class, no teachers was teaching, no internet connections, no TV channels. The Taliban had taken over the police cars. Everyone was leaving the cities to go to Kabul, hoping to leave the country by getting to the airport. Before the Taliban took over Afghanistan, I was a member of the Afghanistan robotics team. I traveled to different countries and participated to different competitions. Everything was good. When the Taliban took over the country, everything flipped. The feeling of fear spread out everywhere. With low internet connections, I was spending emails to everyone I knew trying to get help, but no one of them replied. I know how it would be to live under the Taliban's flag, as my mom was always telling us about what she had been through the first time the Taliban took Afghanistan 20 years ago. She was forced to marry my dad at age 12 because my grandma didn't want my mother to be forced to marry a Talib soldier. She was banned from going to school as the Taliban didn't let women become educated. I remember my mom told me, just leave and don't care about anything else. She was afraid that someone would learn that when I traveled with the robotics team, I did not have a man from my family with me, and I would be punished because of that. I brought my 14-year-old brother, Rashid, with me to leave Afghanistan because it is not okay to travel without a man from your family. My family includes my mom, my 2 sisters, and my 3 brothers. When my brother and I left, the remaining family stayed back in Herat, the place where I lived for 20 years of my life. The day I was leaving, I just say to myself, Rodaba, look to these faces, as you're not going to see them again in the next 10 years or 20 years, and what if you never see them again? Same thing with my brother, who was crying and did not want to show it. I took the bus and put all my documents under my clothes so that when the Taliban checked the luggages, they would not find out about me. After 22 hours of driving, we got to Kabul. We had no place to stay in, no food, no water, no home, and did not know anyone. We were spending our time on different buses that were trying to go to the airport, but none of them were succeeding. After 9 or 10 days of trying, we still couldn't get to the airport, and I knew it was our last chance before the airports were going to close because of the rockets bombarding the airports. We were told to go back home. My heart was coming out of my chest, and I was about to lose hope when I got a call. I was told that there was a bus waiting for me and my brother that would get us, but that we needed to get there before it left. We quickly got a taxi and made it to the bus in the time, and I saw 20 young girls with burqas, a few young boys, and 3 or 4 more families. They gave us water and some snacks. As I was drinking water, I felt like it was my first time drinking water in the last 10 days. No food, no water, no home, and did not know anyone. We were spending our time on different buses that were trying to go to the airport, but none of them were succeeding. After 9 or 10 days of trying, we still couldn't get to the airport, and I knew it was our last chance before the airports were going to close because of the rockets bombarding the airports. We were told to go back home. My heart was coming out of my chest, and I was about to lose hope when I got a call. I was told that there was a bus waiting for me and my brother that would get us, but that we needed to get there before it left. We quickly got a taxi and made it to the bus in the time, and I saw 20 young girls with burqas, a few young boys, and 3 or 4 more families. They gave us water and some snacks. As I was drinking water, I felt like it was my first time drinking water in the last 10 days. I said with myself, may God bless whoever is the reason I'm drinking the water. I did not know then that it was Yotam who managed the bus. I had never felt that safe and super sure about getting out of Afghanistan, but on that bus, I felt safe for the first time in a while. The bus took 42 people to Kunduz, the border between Tajikistan and Afghanistan. We spent 3 nights traveling. Finally, after Yotam's hard work, we were able to get permission from the Tajikistan government to let us in, and there we spent another 3 days waiting to find another country where we could wait for Canadian immigration. Yotam was working hard to find connections and finally managed to get us to a humanitarian camp in Abu Dhabi, where more than 12,000 Afghan refugees were waiting to go to the United States or other countries. The first time I met Yotam was in that humanitarian camp. Then Yotam tried to bring even more people out. In the second evacuation, Yotam evacuated my family, the family which I thought I might never see them again. He was the angel who saved me and my family. Not only me, but he arranged other evacuations and saved more than 300 lives. We all owe our lives to him. I reunited with my family again after only 10 months. all because of Yotam. If my family is now in Canada, living their best life, if I'm in the United States, and if I'm studying at Bard College in New York, and if I'm experiencing the best life ever, and if I'm safe now, it's all because of him. For me, yeah, also the partners. For me, Yotam is my saving angel. We had never met before the Taliban took Afghanistan. We were not even from the same country, but as my people always say, he was chosen by God to help us. Today, millions of people wish they could get out of Afghanistan. I imagine I would be one of them if Yotam had not said yes to help us. I would be in Afghanistan, not going to college, and I would be married by arrangement to someone. I am so thankful to Yotam and always will be. This is the second time I have met Yotam. I met him in DC in January, and he was always smiling, introducing me to others, and was so proud of what I'm doing. He has always been so supportive of me, and I am honored to meet his family today. May God bless him and give him the strength to continue his path and help more people. I'm almost at the end of my speech, but I just wanted to say that I talked to my mom and told her that I was coming here to talk about Yotam. She asked me to read a message that she wrote to Yotam. Yotam, do you mind coming here, please? And also, well, I have translated it to English, but it was sweeter in Persian. Thank you.
Wow. I will say, I'll say it many times tonight, but it really wasn't just me. There was an amazing group of people doing that, and Rodabe and the Afghans were also amazing people, but two women who, you know, we have to mention here who was part of this evacuation was Ronnie and Dana, so I just want to mention them. But I'll read this letter, and I'm a little bit shaky. Okay, so dear Yotam, you understand me better than anyone else because you are a father. You know how it feels and how much it hurts to be away from your two children who you care about the most and who you love the most. The day that Rodaba got into the bus, and right when that bus left, I realized not only she did take my son with her, but also she took my heart with her. I was alive, but not living for 1 month since my kids left me. When I was informed that I would see them again, I started finding hope. Rashid was 14 when he left me, and now he's 15. He got onto his school football team, and he is learning new things every day. If I saw my son again, if I saw my daughter again, if all my kids are around me and living their life in peace without fear, it is all because of you. Know that you will always be in our hearts and in our prayers. I will never forget what you have done for a mother. May God bless you and keep you for your family. May your life be full of happiness, and may you stay healthy and successful. Thank you. Wow.
Wow. I'm so moved by that story and your courage, Rodaba. I'm the mother of a teenage boy, and the thought of you and your brother leaving the family to travel from a scary place to an unknown future makes me a little bit emotional. I am Amy Bach. I'm the founder and CEO of an organization called Measures for Justice. And our mission is to help bring transparency and accountability to how justice is pursued. So this year, we created a tool. It's called Commons, and the idea is to bring together the community and really all the stakeholders, the prosecutor, the police, and to get them to determine what success looks like via public data. And it's really about building on measurement and getting people to talk to each other on hard to talk about topics, but via facts. I know, Yotam, you also rely on partners to get these things done and determine success. You often describe the quote-unquote aid circus that arrives after a disaster and the importance of everyone having a meaningful role and goal. As the 2018 prize laureate, I welcome you to our prize cohort. I'm also so grateful to you, Charles. We are all here because of you. Thank you to the entire prize family for all the work that you are doing to make this world a better place.
Absolutely, Amy. Yotam, I'm so moved by your story. Thank you so much. I'm David Hertz. I'm the prize laureate from 2019, and I often say I feed humanity with humanity. I co-founded a food justice organization called Gastromotiva, based in Brazil and in Mexico. We fight hunger and food waste through education and entrepreneurship. These last few years have been tough enough, but humanity rose to the occasion. We have trained thousands of cooks and social entrepreneurs and fed over 1 million families, vulnerable families, in every region of our country for solidarity kitchens and training programs. Receiving the prize back in 2019 was life-changing. I'm so inspired by Charles Bronfman, how he lives his life to the fullest. He has encouraged me and has helped so many to dream big, I guess, to dream huge. When I read in his book that the name of his organization is, in Israel, Karev, means bring closer, I saw myself in him. I believe this is the right place and moment for all of us to be grateful, and I'm honored to be here. The Bronfmans unite all of us. We become one. It's my honor to introduce you to Charles Bronfman.
Let's see now, what do I have to say? Oh, not me. Dear friends, dear laureates, and I can't even see through the haze here, so I don't know how you guys did it in speaking. I first of all, I'm so proud, I'm so happy, I'm so thrilled, and I say it every year. The best prize and gift that anybody could ever want is that his children think enough of him to do what my kids have done for me. And I think that this prize might be in my name, but it's the collective genius of my children, their spouses, and the judges, along with the executive director, who have made the prize an amazing, amazing success. Who would have thought of a prize family? Well, there's a woman here who thought of that. Jill Indick, where are you? Jill? Come on, stand up. Stand up, Jill. Jill is, in my opinion, the mother of the prize. She created the family. She corresponded with all the winners year after year, month after month, sometimes even day after day. And she has been followed by Paulette Light, who is doing a great, great job in carrying on. And I'm thrilled to say that Ellen, my daughter Ellen, has taken control of as Chief Executive Officer with her brother's enthusiastic support of this prize. Ellen, God bless you. We have heard tonight from a panoply of wonderful people, of people who are not retired old you-know-whats like me, but are on the way up every month, every month, every month. There is more exciting news about what these life-saving heroes have been doing. And as for this year, and as for Yotam, just hearing his story and then knowing him as a human being is thrilling and it's just mind-boggling. So I'd like Yotam to come up, and I will give you the prize without fanfare, but I would ask your wife, whose name is Mayo, which happens to be the same name as my wife's maiden name. And there's one other person I'd like to invite, because they say behind every man is a woman. In my era, they said that. They don't say that anymore, but behind every Jewish successful person is a Jewish mother, and Yotam's is here. So, Mrs. Please come up. Mayo, Mrs. Polizer. God bless you all. You're wonderful, wonderful people.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so, and here's the real heroes. Want to come say hi? Come, come. Come. So, after all these, embarrassing words here, I always say, I wish my mother was here. She's actually here. But then you also see these two beautiful kids, but they could also be a real humanitarian crisis. So the real hero is my much better half, Mayo, which, I'm beyond moved, and I'm kind of really overwhelmed. It's probably the biggest honor of my life, and Charles, Stephen, Ellen, your family has welcomed me so warmly and so kindly, and this amazing group of laureates and judges, and Jill and Paulette, it's really such a beautiful family. And you see my real family, but that's definitely my second Jewish family. So thank you. I also am beyond thrilled that we have many, many members of the IsraAID family, which is the best family, not just Jewish. It's a family of all faiths and more than 16 countries here. But really we have Meira, our chairperson, and one of the founders. Muli, also one of the founders and member of the board. We have Sherry Weinman, the U.S. chair of the board. We have other members of the U.S. board. We have our core team, who are 4 mighty women who are actually doing the real job, that are here. Tamar, who is our Chief Development Communication. Ira, our CFO, Shlomit, our Chief Transformation Officer, Naama, our Chief Humanitarian Resilience Officer, other members of our core team from Israel, members of the US team. So, I mean, you've heard a little bit about my story and my bio, and yes, I've been chasing disasters for a while. But really, the real work is done by our teams around the world. And this prize is first and foremost for each and every one of them. And they are not only here, they are in Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya, one of the largest refugee camps in the world. They are in South Sudan supporting women who were tortured and raped. More than 67% of the women in South Sudan were sexually assaulted. They are in war-torn Ukraine, where we have more than 60 people providing mental health support and access to clean water as we speak. They are the women from Afghanistan that, thank God, are now safe, but so many more who are suffering from the extreme regime of the Taliban. And in many other countries, they're in the small island of Dominica. We have guests from Dominica here, and it's not Dominican Republic. Dominica is a tiny island in the Caribbean that was destroyed by a hurricane in 2017, and IsraAID has been there ever since, helping communities get back on their feet and prepare for future disasters, because this is one of the most vulnerable places for climate change. So a lot of people ask me, and I think ask our team members, how do we cope? We've seen so much suffering. I personally seen a lot of suffering. I remember in Japan, more than 20,000 people lost their lives in the tsunami. In Nepal, more than 10,000 people lost their lives. Most recently in Turkey, 50,000 people died. We've seen really so much suffering, but we also seen so much hope and so much inspiration. And there's a concept that I know my team maybe is already bored of it because they heard me talk about it so many times, but I would love to share with you. And if there's one thing I want you to take from tonight is this concept. It's called post-traumatic growth. Post-traumatic growth is the idea that disasters, tragedies, traumas can happen and will continue to happen, unfortunately, whether it's because of climate, conflict, pandemics, you name it. But they also bring opportunities. We shouldn't wait and wish for them to happen, but when they do, there's always an opportunity not only to get things back to where they were before, but there's an opportunity for growth. There's an opportunity for real resilience. And that's what we've been seeing time and time again all over the world, this concept of post-traumatic growth. I've seen it personally when I've seen Yazidi women who were tortured by ISIS, were sexually enslaved, went through the worst trauma a person could think of, and then one of them won the Nobel Peace Prize and became an ambassador who supports women who were sexually assaulted around the world. I've seen it in Japan, where a community that didn't have mental health support now have a mental health support system. We're seeing it in South Sudan, where we train the first generation of social workers in the country. So this concept of post-traumatic growth is what keeps me and all of my amazing team at IsraAID going. And speaking about growth, I'm very excited to share here for the first time that we are starting a very exciting journey, a 5-year journey of strategic growth at IsraAID. 5 years ago, IsraAID was an organization with a small team and a budget of less than $7 million. Today, 5 years later, our budget is almost $21 million. So we tripled ourselves, but it's not just the budget, it's our impact and our growth. And 5 years from now, we are planning to reach and become an organization of $50 million. And that doesn't mean that we're going to go to 50 countries. No, we will deep our impact within our existing countries, and of course, we will respond to new disasters as they come. We will focus on
countries that are extremely affected by climate change, by displacement. We'll bring much more technology, especially from Israel, to these countries. And with our amazing team, with our board members, with our wonderful supporters and partners, many of them are here tonight, I couldn't be more excited and thrilled to go on this journey. And the last thing I will say is that the first donor to this exciting growth will be myself. I will donate half of the price that I won, $50,000. So we only need $49,950,000 and counting. Once again, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoy this beautiful evening, and I can't wait to continue this journey with each and every one of you. The work has only started. Thank you.
Yotam, Rachel and I are thrilled to welcome you and your family. Thank you for bringing even the little ones to this larger prize family and to the prize today. I had some prepared remarks. I think I might switch them up a bit because after this, and I think you used the words and Rodaba used the word, and I'm feeling full of hope, and I'm summarizing this presentation in my mind in one word: as hope. That's kind of what you're doing. You're bringing hope to so many people. And as you were speaking, I was remembering I was in Rwanda right after the genocide, and I had somehow made a friend who was a refugee, and he was a pastor, and he was living in one of the slums in Kigali. And I was asking one day, like, how do you do it, like your life, and how do you talk to the people as you're a pastor? And he just said, if you have hope, you can overcome basically anything. And I feel like that's what you're doing and you're bringing. I just want to say thank you for doing that. My name is Sam Goldman. I received the prize in 2014. I'm the founder of a company or social enterprise called D-Light. And what we do is we finance sustainable products, mostly solar systems, also your first smartphone or your first cook stove, products like that for families who can't afford them, who don't have any electricity.
We use them all the time.
Really? I was also looking at your list of countries thinking, we have so many teams, partners in Vanuatu, Philippines, Kenya, all over the world, so there's a lot of connections. It's wonderful. So yeah, we finance these products for families who otherwise it's their first light bulb, their first smartphone, their first connection into the broader world. And so I've witnessed firsthand, what the same thing that's happening in your communities, the powerlessness when people don't have clean water, if they don't have reliable electricity, if they don't have safety, things like that. So I know the challenges you guys are facing, and I'm so excited about the announcement you made about thinking bigger and the scale that you can bring. We have a goal to try to transform 1 billion lives by 2030. We haven't quite announced it. We're going to announce it shortly that we've reached 150 million people, and I'm so excited that you're about to scale up also, and that we will be along with you in this journey I just found out about. So that's awesome. Thank you, Yotam.
Pretty amazing. I'm Rachel Andrus. In 2006, I founded the Solar Cooker Project, which was part of Jewish World Watch. And in 2008, I was honored to receive the Charles Bronfman Prize. My project was a project where we kept Darfuri women safe inside their refugee camps so that they didn't have to leave and collect firewood, where they ended up being sexually assaulted, raped, sometimes kidnapped. And through that work, I became aware of the importance of rebuilding communities, as you do. Communities destroyed by natural disaster, by war, by genocide. And currently I'm involved with New Ground, a Muslim-Jewish partnership for change on the West Coast. And I continue to really value and cherish the importance of partnerships between the Jewish community and the rest of the world. Yotam, you've spoken about what it's like wearing the name of Israel as part of your organization as you go into these war zones, and we saw it on the video, in hostile territories. And I feel so confident that you are bringing these positive feelings towards Israel and towards Jews, to many people who probably never met a Jew, as when I was in the refugee camps the same. No one knew what a Jew was, and then they had a positive attitude. We wish you safety and understanding on each mission. May you continue to be a light unto the nations. And one last thing, when I won the prize, my kids were little, and my 5-year-old had fallen asleep right there, and Charles said, well, wake her up and bring her up. So I'm glad your kids came in, and that's a special treat. And we are going to conclude the program with some remarks by Ellen and Stephen, who are somewhere. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks again for coming, everyone, tonight. We just are so inspired to have everyone share their stories with you, and most of all, Yotam. And before we invite everyone out to have cocktails, now that Yotam's a part of this new family, we're just going to have a quick family photo. So Dad, Rita, if we can ask you to come back up, Yotam, Mayo, and our prize laureates, and we'll join you in the reception area. And we'd love for all of you to meet and ask our prize laureates more about their work that you've heard about.
Right on. And tonight really was an evening of inspiration, of hope, and of light.
Yeah.
So keep that light burning here.
Yes.
And put your sunglasses in, because there's a lot of good stuff going on. Thank you,
Exactly.
everyone. And thanks to Dad for inspiring each and every one of us every day. Love you, Pops.